Hi, this is a video on how to change the LCD screen in a HTC Windows 8S. Tools we're going to need for this job: T5 screwdriver, a small Phillips head, an opening tool, and a pair of tweezers. Right, as you can see, we've got a nice cracked screen on this one. So first thing we need to do is remove the little battery cover, like that. If you've got a SIM card or memory card in the phone, make sure you take those out. Right, so we want to get our T5, and there are two screws, one here, which obviously both need to come out. I'll put those to one side, make sure we don't lose them. Right, so once both of those screws are out, you want to get an opening tool, and we're going to start working it along the edges of the back cover. So just get it in there, run it along, and move to the other side, run it along there until you see it start coming up. Right, and once it's up enough, you can just lift it off then. There's a back cover, so put that to one side. Right, so now you're going to need your small Phillips head screwdriver, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 batteries, 4 screws that we need to remove there. So if we do that now. Right, the next thing that we're going to want to do is you've got this plastic plating around the battery that needs to come out, but the battery is actually on a ribbon and the cable is connected under this plate, so we're going to want to be very careful lifting this plate up, because obviously we don't want to damage the ribbon of the battery. So if you just get your opening tool and just work it along this edge first, we move round to this edge and work it along here, and once we get down to where the little ribbon is, if we just get our opening tool and put it in there and just pop the ribbon up like that, so you can see it's come up, so we're not going to pull it and rip it. And now just get your opening tool, put it this end of the battery and just prise the battery up like that. Battery comes out, and now you can just remove the little plastic plate. Right, there are 2 more screws we need to remove, right at the bottom, just here. 2 small Phillips heads, and this little plastic metal plate needs to come up as well. So just take that little metal plate off, put that to one side. Right, so now we're down to obviously the main circuit board, and the next thing we're going to want to do is obviously take the board out, and there are quite a few ribbons that we need to disconnect. As you can see, there's 2 here that we need to disconnect. There's 1 here that needs to be disconnected. This one here needs to be disconnected. There's a small little one there just above the camera that needs to be disconnected. We also need to take out, or just pop out, the little vibrating motor there. If you just get a little pair of tweezers and just carefully just pop up the little motor. Like that, so it just pops out. Then you want to obviously disconnect all the little cables. Start with the ones at the top. Some of them can be a little bit tricky to do. So this other little one here. And the two round here. Right, so once all the little cables are out, we can now remove the circuit board. So if we get it this side, there's a little clip just here. So if you get your opening tool in there and push it away from that clip, the board should just lift up like that, and there's your circuit board. And now we're down to obviously the front screen and the little back, well, the bezel basically. What you need to do now is heat this up with a heat gun or a hairdryer, obviously to get it off. Depending on how well stuck down it is, if it's brand new, obviously it's going to be stuck down quite well. You're going to have to heat it up quite a lot. I've already heated this one up, but once you've done it, you just get your opening tool and just start to work it along the edges and along the bottom. Like that, and then obviously along the top. There we go. So that's the screen removed from its back plate. So obviously now we're just left with the screen. Depending on what screen you've bought, some of them you've got this little ribbon. That's the LCD. For the LCD, you've got this little ribbon next to it here, which is for the light sensor along the bottom for the buttons. Some of the LCDs come with this, some of them don't. If yours doesn't, then you're going to need to take this off and put it on the new one. Also, up the top, you've got obviously the grill and the little blue bit for the earpiece. Some of them don't come with that either, so you might need to take both off and put it on your old one. So to get this off, you just need to prise up the LCD and then just gently peel this little light sensor off. Obviously be careful not to damage it. Just peel it off like that, put it to one side. And obviously you're going to need to put it on your new LCD. And also this little top grill piece you'll need to take out if you haven't got it in your new LCD. Right, so once you've got your little sensor, light sensor, and your grill back in, it's time to put the phone back together. So I'm just going to remove this little plastic piece protecting the ribbon. Right, so you get your metal plate, and we're going to want to obviously feed these cables back through it. Right, so obviously the bottom two will go back through there. Obviously you've got your top two, you need to line up in the holes in there. Right, so make sure obviously all the cables are through properly before you stick it right back down. be a little bit tricky to do this, but once it's all in there, just make sure it's all back down nicely. Right, so once you've done that, what we'll then need to do is get the ball back on. Right, so obviously make sure we don't get any little cables trapped underneath. This little sensor here needs to be down and out of the way underneath. So if we just pop that back down there. Make sure we haven't got anything trapped underneath. Right. There we go. So once you've made sure all the ribbons are up and out of the way, like that one at the top there. It can be a bit tricky to do this. Pop the vibrating motor back in. There we go, make sure all the cables are up. Clip the ball back down. Then it will be a case of popping all these little ribbons back in. Can be quite time consuming this because they can be a little bit tricky. Right, so once you've got all your little cables and ribbons back in, it's time to plug the battery back in and put this little plastic frame back around it. So the first thing we're going to want to do is plug this battery back in. Like that. And then if we get our frame, clip it back down, then wrap the battery back over it, put it back in place like that. Make sure everything's all clipped in properly. Then we're going to get your Phillips screwdriver and start putting your 4 silver screws back in. Right, so the next thing we want to do is this little metal plate that we removed earlier. It's got 2 little clips on one end, so make sure they go in the top. Pop that back in, screws back in. Right, so that's that done. Next thing, your back plate back on. So just pop it in top first. Clip it down the sides. Make sure it's all clipped in properly. There we go. Get your T5. Your last 2 screws back in the bottom. Once that's done, battery cover back on. And there we go. That's how to change the LCD screen on a HTC Windows 8S. And thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please thumbs up and please subscribe. And yeah, once again, thanks for watching.